What's going on, fellow knife lovers? Welcome to Nice Knives. Today, we're taking a look at a budgety knife from Kansept. This is the Kansept Helix. This knife has been out for quite a long time, and they have a ton of different variations on this knife with different scale materials and things of that nature. I will leave a link in the description if you guys are interested in this knife. This version here has the brown micarta scales. It is a plunge lock. It's got T6 body screws and a T8 for the pivot screw. Has a lanyard hole running through the body of the knife. It has some really cool jimping here on the back of the spine of the handle, which I think looks pretty awesome. It has a right side carry only deep loop over pocket clip. Got some jimping on the spine of the blade as well. And on the flipper tab here for deployment, you do have a little bit of jimping there, which I do appreciate. And it is running on ball bearings. The only means of deployment for this, other than using the plunge lock, will be the flipper tab. And it has a drop point, mostly flat ground D2 blade with a black stonewash kind of finish on it here. It is designed by Mikkel Williamson. So I do have another knife here that I'll do a size comparison to that was also designed by Mikkel Williamson. So you'll see that when I do the size comparisons. Now, the knife here, pretty comfortable in the hand. You got your finger choil here for your choke up grip. Both your middle finger and your index fit right there really well, and your thumb could get on the jimping of the spine of the blade. It feels pretty comfortable in the hand. Plenty of extra room for the handle. You can see there's a good 1.5 inches coming out of the bottom of my hand there. Even in this method of grip, you could still see there's a good amount of extra there. Pretty good ergos on this knife. The only thing I'm not a huge fan of this knife, there's a couple actually. It's kind of why I'm late to the review of this knife, is it's pretty clunky. It feels, I guess for a lack of a better word, it just feels kind of clumsy to me. The plunge lock works pretty well. I don't have any, lock stick or anything like that. And it does come out pretty well when you use the flipper tab for deployment here. Just closing it, it feels a little on the clunky side, but on those ball bearings, it does come out very well. The major con that I have on this knife is that it has up and down blade play. And this knife has been sitting for quite a while. It came that way brand new. So that's another reason why I slept on the review of this, because I just wasn't thoroughly impressed with the knife. I'm not a huge fan of knives that have just one means of deployment. First off, I do have some that are flipper tab only that I really like quite a bit actually. But this knife is kind of not one of those. You can use the plunge lock for deployment, but it's very, very kind of clumsy unless you really whip your hand out there. And the blade's so heavy that it just kind of, the balance point here just almost wants to come out of your hand when you do it like that. So definitely the flipper tab is the way you probably want to deploy this knife. The other thing about this knife that I'm not a huge fan of is that the blade is not centered. It leans a little more over to the show side. It looks like it might be working itself out a little bit. It was pretty bad at first, so I don't know if it's just me messing with it, but it's starting to kind of center out a little bit. And also the micarta is very smooth micarta. It doesn't have a lot of texture, and I'm used to micarta that has pretty good grip to it, pretty good texture. Like the Paramilitary 2 here. It's got great texture on this micarta. This here feels almost like a G10, even though it's micarta. It's very kind of smooth. But yeah, so basically just the clumsiness of it, the blade play, the up and down blade play. I feel like for 50 bucks, I know this knife used to cost, a little bit more than that. It's been, I don't know if it's sold out or discontinued. I'm not sure on that, but I think 50 bucks, you could probably start looking at different knives to pick up. This is one I might pass on. That is just my opinion. If you guys might own this knife, and if you guys really like this knife, please let me know in the comments. I would appreciate how your knife came. If your knife came centered, if it had any kind of blade play whatsoever. I get no side to side, but I get up and down blade play. And it's pretty beefy. It is comfortable. You get a lot of money, You get a lot of knife for the money, I will say. It's got a big blade. It's got a big handle. comfortable in the hand, that is for sure. I think the best thing on this knife is that just how comfortable it is in the hand, actually. The jimping's in all the right spots, the way this kind of gets right into the palm of your hand when you get a good grip. So it has some pros, it has some cons. It's not the worst knife in the world for sure, but just for a Kansept knife, I was a little underwhelmed. So anyway, we're going to do some measurements on this puppy. This one sits here almost a full 9 inches. It's 1/8 of an inch shy of 9 inches. The blade meets up with the scales here at 3 3/4 inches. The cutting edge is just shy of 3 3/4 inches. Now the scales on this knife, you're looking at 5 1/4 inches for the length of the handle, and the weight of the Kansept Helix here is pretty beefy, Let's see what it is here. We got 148.8 grams, and it's at 5.2 ounces. All right, so now we're going to put this up against another Mikkel Williamson design. Now this will be the SOG Pro and XR. He also designed this knife, and you will see they're very similar. Blade shape, scale shape, handle shape, all that. Very, very similar. It's almost no denying that that was one of his designs. So very cool there. We're going to do the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. This is another micarta, so I figured you could see the size to the PM2 because a lot of people own the PM2. It's a little smaller than the Helix here. Now another Kansept that is budgety will be the Kansept Egress here. There we are. Now another Kansept, this is the Kansept Fenrir. This is a super cool one. This has the titanium scales and the Damascus with the S35VN Agreg Shab design. So very nice Kansept right there. And then another Kansept. This is the Kansept Vivid. This also has titanium. It has like an Axis style lock with the S35VN blade with the purple fat carbon fiber. Very nice there. Now we're going to do a bonus blade. I like doing bonus blades. This is another Kansept. This is the Kansept Baba Yaga. This has the titanium with the Damascus scales, and it has the Damascus blade. See if I can get you some shine on that Damascus. This blade just is crazy looking. Hollow ground blade. Very nice knife. Very comfortable in the hand. So this is the bonus blade for you guys. I thought you guys might appreciate looking at the Baba Yaga. So now real quick, pull out the edge retention chart. D2 sits here almost at an 8 on this chart, right above S30V steel. And on this chart here for edge retention and toughness, D2 sits here at a 7 for retention, and it sits at a 6 for toughness. So all in all, I don't hate this knife, but I would say for the money, I would probably tell you guys to go look for a different knife, to be honest. It's not a bad knife, and if you guys own this knife and you think it's great, you know, I'm perfectly cool with that. I mean, everybody's got a different opinion. Yours might have came in better than mine. I might have gotten a lemon for all I know, and in a way I kind of feel like it is. I don't mind the clunkiness of it so much as I mind the up and down blade play and the fact that it wasn't sintered. I might be able to take it apart and correct those issues, but at this point, I just don't know if I really care about this knife enough to even bother, to be honest. So, yeah. So yeah, I say for 50 bucks, maybe a pass. If you can get this for 30 to 40 bucks, that would be a steal. Then I would say it's worth your time and worth your money. But at 50 bucks, I would probably try to pick up the Pro and XR. I think the Pro and XR is far superior, in my opinion. This has the Cryo D2. Could reverse flick it as well. So you got multiple means of deployment for the same style and shape of knife as the Helix there. If you don't care about the blade shape and you're still looking for around the $50 budgety price range and you want a Kansept, I would probably go for the Kansept Egress here. Very cool knife, liner lock, 14C28N, blade steel, and you got the reverse flickability here. And this knife is definitely just more superior in every way to the Helix. So if you want a decent budgety Kansept knife, I would lean towards the Egris here. I don't have every Kansept. I'm sure there's more Kansepts that are around the same price tab that are maybe even better than the Egris here, but I'm really kind of fond of this and how it functions and everything like that. So anyway, these are just my opinions, guys, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you have any questions or concerns or anything like that, and let me know if your Helix came centered. Let me know if it came with blade play. Let me know how you feel about it. And like I said, maybe I just got a lemon, but I hope not. But anyway, we're going to catch you guys in the next video. You guys all have a great night. Peace out, people.